Hello, another RekStarcraft here. I'm Rekatan, and I am continuing on with my Zerg versus Protoss without Roach's theme. And this game is going to give a good display of transitioning into a macro game as opposed to just going up and baneling busting. So hopefully this will give a little more idea of the diversity that this build actually has, this Ling baneling play versus Protoss as opposed to Roach anything. Alright. And my opponent is VTDesRow, and then of course I'm EVORekatan, and let's go ahead and get this started while I talk about random BS. Actually not a lot of random BS going on this week, just been really busy. So, and that's not too terribly interesting. Haven't been laddering too much, been honestly just too busy coaching to even keep up with it. Volume a little bit high, but I am, I guess, I'm hovering between 2nd and 6th in my division, which doesn't mean too terribly much, but it's something. I'm hoping to just this season keep all my bonus pools spent, because last season I ended with 450 bonus pool, and that just felt like it was just plain laziness on my part. I was just so busy practicing with other people, and I didn't prioritize ladder because I didn't, I guess I got scared to ladder, honestly. After a while you just kind of get into the, oh my god, I haven't laddered in a week kind of thing, and you just don't do it. And yes, that's dubstep in the background. Sorry if it bothers people, but I've been in a dubstep mood, so I've been listening to it all day. It's just so dirty. Love dirty bass. And if nobody knows what dirty bass means, that's okay. I'm just a crackhead. Alright, so no surprise here, 11 over pool. Gonna see this every game that's not Tal'Darim Altar. It's just how I like to go about it. And God, it's so tempting to fast forward through this, but I won't, because I know people get mad when you do that. So what else has been going on? Oh man, what a boring start. This is the most boring start I've ever had to a cast, I think. I apologize for that, guys. It's just this opening. I use this opening all the time, so there's no analysis for it. Oh well, I'll think of something. What can I say? Oh, there's a probe. Okay, there's a probe, and we're going to watch this probe very closely. He's now... Oh, you see it doubled back. Now, the fact that it doubled back is... No, now it's not doubling back. Okay, it was going to dodge the mineral line. Now it's decided the mineral line actually is going to be okay. So it's going to harass my drones, but notice... Oh, I pull the drone over, and now it's not going to go in the mineral line. This probe's a little scared. It realizes 15 drones might be a little too much for it to handle. But is it going to leave? No, it's not going to leave. I thought I was going to get all excited. Okay, and here's that little extractor trick delayed a bit for a fake out. I love it, I love it, I love it. The second he leaves, and he actually, I think he did, I don't know, I think he maybe did see it cancel, unfortunately. But from my point of view, he did not. Oh well. But yeah, it's so fun to fake people out with that. I just can't help it. And so at this point, I'm just getting my Zerglings out to scout as quickly as possible. Since I do skip my drone scout with this build, it's really, really important to get your Zerglings to both other locations ASAP. You need to see a 2-gate as soon as possible, because believe it or not, this build has a little bit of a vulnerability to 2-gate due to the lack of drone scouting. Because I don't know I should be making a spine in my main, but technically if I saw a 2-gate right now, I'd be like, oh god, spine in my main. And the reason for a spine in the main, this is just a random little sidetrack. You're going to actually, if they block your ramp, you're going to need to push the spine crawler up to your ramp. But that's a whole nother tangent. So I see there is no 2-gate. Why was I just ranting about a 2-gate? Maybe the music's distracting me. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. It's always worked just fine when I was talking. I don't know. Could be that there's too much vocals in this music. Stupid dubstep. Why can't you just be bass lines? Alright, so we should see an Overlord suicide here pretty soon. I always like to suicide by about 5 minutes. And what I'm doing here, since we're cross-map on Shattered Temple, is I'm first gauging to see what kind of expand he is. Generally, you're not going to see a 4-gate cross-map on Shattered Temple from your, master opponents. And after that, okay, at this point I'm feeling pretty good about a 3-gate expand, but I haven't ruled out DTs necessarily. 1 sentry will not rule it out, 2 sentries will. And I'm preparing myself mentally for what I would like to do as far as expansion timing. Generally, my game plan is going to be to go ahead and... Okay, so 3 gates. Yep, looking like a 3-gate expand. My game plan is going to be to hit a Speedling Baneling window with +1, and actually take the gold behind it, because I've produced enough lings that he cannot aggress. And so I'm actually putting myself behind on harvester count and then compensating for it by taking the gold. This is kind of a common theme in a lot of my play. It's how I handle a lot of my high economy baneling busting against Terran. I'll take a gold behind it, and if the baneling bust fails, then guess what? I've got the gold. So that's a pretty good option. And that's generally what I recommend on any map that has a gold. Just apply pressure, or even if you're not applying pressure, just make lots of units while taking the gold, and they're going to a lot of times see the gold and go, crap, I have to attack. And then they attack into your lots of units, and they lose lots of units to your lots of units. Kind of fun how that works. So generally that's going to work out pretty well, because worst case scenario, they don't attack, and, well, then you got the gold and they don't, and you can contain them to 2 base for a while. An important thing to notice, to mention when you do contain to 2 base, make sure to get pneumatized carapace as quickly as possible. I'm going a very late layer here, so that's less of an option for me, but really if I'm playing tip-top, these overlords can go ahead and start positioning themselves, you know. But I did not do that here. This game's about 3 weeks old, 4 weeks old, so actually I've improved quite a bit since then. I've been starting to pre-position my overlords and all sorts of fancy things like that, which I used to do 2 months ago, but then I stopped doing it, and I came to realize that with these late layer builds I'm doing, I need to pre-position my overlords or I don't deny the third properly. Alright, so good thing to watch here is the income tab. I'm the same on income. What's this garbage about? I've been on 2 base forever. And this is just exactly how this wants to look. I'm behind on income now, and this is normal. Perfectly normal. And that's why I'm actually, why am I getting more minerals than him? I'm on the same number? Okay, this is weirding me out. Now we're even. Oh, he was doing a mineral drone transfer. Okay. I don't even have to look at it to know that's what that was. I had a brain fart there for a second. Why that would cause, what would cause that? I would actually turn off this music right now, but I can't alt-tab to turn it off for Absol Bug, so sorry that the music's distracting me, and it's probably distracting you too, but I was just so addicted to this music. Although this mix has gotten really bad today, so, I mean, it was really good like 30 minutes ago, but it's like a 2-hour mix, and he's getting pretty bad now. Kind of boring. Oh well. So, at this point, I know I have the gold. I'm pretty sure he knows I have the gold. Let's cheat for a second. He does not know. I figured his Phoenix scouting saw it by now. Generally, you want them to know you have the gold. Funny enough, you want them to know about it, you want them to aggress, you want them to feel obligated to risk it against your Baneling Speedling, because one missed force field and they automatically lose the game. And at this point, I'm actually preparing for the Baneling drop transition. That's the second phase of this build. The first phase being Baneling Speedling, strictly via ground, sometimes bust, sometimes defensively. This time we saw defensively. Second phase being Baneling drops or a Muta transition once in a while. Or burrow transition once in a while as well. Third phase being Queen Broodlord, just completely out there, but it's still my standard for late games EVP just because it's so good. And now we notice I am 7 drones down, but I'm actually keeping up with his mineral income, so that's exactly how you want it to be. And now I'm surpassing him. My gas income is still not quite where it should be, but that'll catch up here in a second when I grab this third extractor, I'm sorry. Generally, though, this build's going to be very, very mineral heavy, so this is exactly how you want it to look. 5 drones down, but 400 more minerals per second, or per minute. Perfect. That's exactly what you want with this. And really, at this point, I may consider getting a macro hatch. I may consider taking my 4. It's an either-or situation based on how safe I'm feeling. And I really, at this point, I should have the Overlord here. There's no excuse not to have that Overlord blocking, since I am getting Overlord speed. But I think I was being lazy this game. This is a bad game. Don't do what I do this game. Why am I even showing you this game? It's terrible. But yeah, I should have Overlord here, Overlord here, Overlord there, Overlord there, Overlord there, Overlord there, and Overlord there. They provide vision. They provide me the ability to block their expansion via creep. There's just no reason not to. It gives you such good map control. And by the time their Nexus actually finishes and they've started making cannons, you're well in position to prepare the expand if that's what you choose to do. So, yeah, there's no reason I shouldn't have had Overlords all over the map. But I guess this game, yeah, I guess this was back when this style of play was still a bit conceptual for me, so maybe I'm not quite getting my fundamentals where they should be this game. Apologies for that. So I'm still behind on drones. Why am I behind on drones? Well, this build cuts drones really early, and actually I cut them a little too early this game. I really want to cut by about 50 to 55, maybe 60. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Finally. Better late than never. So I cut drones a little early, but this is still kind of a July Zerg style of play. You're going to deny expansions, you're going to make sure to have more than enough units to deal with any aggression, and you're just going to keep tempo once you've established it. And we're going to see that the second he and I engage, tempo immediately swings in my favor, and he's never able to reestablish it. And that's exactly what you want it to look like. You're cutting drones early as a means of establishing that tempo. And if he doesn't aggress, it's probably the worst situation that can happen. But that's very rare versus a Protoss player. They almost feel obligated to aggress, especially with you having the gold. Now, I'm curious about something. Okay, that was another drone transfer? I don't know. I guess I'm going back to my vision. He was way behind on income there for a while, and I'm going to go back and take a look at that later. So here we see him going ahead and moving out. And let's check and see. He does have Blink. Blink is going to be a very good counter for the Baneling drops, so that's a great choice on his part. He read my build perfectly. But that's what I have these, what do we have here? Units. That's what I have 95 speedlings for as well. You know, plus 1 speedlings are going to generally do very well against Blink Stalkers, so no problema there. And good, I'm starting Carapace. I should be starting +1 attack. Don't do what I do. When you see a lot of Stalkers, you need +2 attack. When you see a lot of Stalkers, you need plus attack as opposed to plus Carapace. It doesn't do anything versus Stalkers. It only helps versus Zealots. And Sentries, of course, since they're so low damage per shot. But since he's almost pure Stalker and my Banelings are going to kill the few Zealots he has, I should have actually been getting +1 melee attack. That's actually going to make a much stronger transition into Broodlords if necessary as well. Alright, so here we see some Blinky Blinky. And he almost gets a snipe. Oh, and I give him the snipe with some miss micro. Not too good on my part. But as long as he's advancing, I am a happy camper. We see some hallucinations. And I see how I'm wrapping around with the speedlings here. I'm cutting off his route of escape. And he tries to escape, but notice, great, the Stalkers got out, but the Zealots and Sentries do not. And that's what you want to happen. And really, I missed a Baneling drop there, but nevertheless, the Stalkers get out, the Zealots and Sentries do not, and because of that, the Stalkers are very vulnerable to the speedlings, which I already had in a good position for a surround. So at this point, I'm just rallying. Let's see what my production looks like. 26 Zerglings. Excellent. That's exactly what it should look like. As many Zerglings as possible. Rally. And tempo is never reestablished on the part of the Protoss player. Even though he kept up with me macro-wise. In fact, he surpassed me macro-wise for a while. But just because that was a very decisive loss on his part, and I had a very strong rally and actually some idle, that's not good, idle units. But nevertheless, once you establish that tempo, as a Zerg player, it is very difficult for a Protoss or Terran player to restabilize without turtling up to, say, their natural, at which point the contain is reestablished. And that in and of itself will win a game. So there goes the gold. DesRow, good manner player, GG, nice style. We talked a while afterwards. He says he's going to hard counter next time we play, after figuring out how to hard counter. So that'll be fun to see. So yeah, pretty solid way to approach the game. You're not really trying to out macro them. You're just trying to beat them in the counter. And as long as you stay relatively matched with them on macro and keep unit production up aside from that, then when they do attack, there you have it. You actually can go ahead and steal a huge tempo advantage. Now there's a couple things I want to look at that I should have been at the time. I want to see what army size was like, because I'm pretty sure I was maybe even slightly down on army size at the point of engagement. I don't know, it looks like I was very slightly up on supply, but of course not up on resources. Oh, no, there we go. A little bit up on supply. Not by much. Okay. Not too terribly much. And of course he was up on resources. That's just Protoss. Being Protoss, they're very expensive. But they're very supply efficient. Okay. And then the other thing... Oh, I already know what that was. I was going to check where his economy dropped, but that was a transfer. Okay, so that's about it. This is the second phase of this no roach style of play. And I found it's very reliable, but the most important thing is that you don't miss micro the Banelings. If we go back to the Baneling drop itself... Last time I rewind, I promise. If we go back to the Baneling drop itself, we'll see that I actually did miss micro a bit. I should have had 1 or 2 more Overlords dropping on his Zealot Sentry. And I was so busy microing the surround that I did not execute that properly. See, I switch back over to Zerglings over there. You can see the little selection box, and then I switch back over to Overlords. And that little time that I switch back, that little ball right there should have died to Banelings, not Speedlings. Much more efficient if that ball dies to Banelings, believe it or not, just because they were cloaked up. But that didn't hurt me too badly. This could have hurt me, but no harm, no foul. Make sure you always have your rally set to a position where they will be in the invasion. Because idle units, you never want to lose a game seeing this in the replay. If I had lost this game, I would have felt like crap, because that in and of itself can establish tempo. Alright, so that is about it for this replay. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Next game, I will be trying to show a replay that shows all 3 stages, but it'll more than likely just show 2 of them. Probably this stage and then moving into Broodlords. I'm not sure which one it's going to be yet, but I'll have to sift through and find it. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.